everybody. This is Dr. Len Schwartz, and we are conducting what we refer to as a client experience call. I have a financial advisor on the phone, Mike. And Mike, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to spend some time with me on the phone to talk about your experience in our service.
My pleasure.
Awesome. So, Mike, would it be okay if we start with how long have you been in practice, and can you also tell us why did you decide to join our service?
Well, I've been in practice off and on for about 30 years. I took a hiatus in the middle of my career to start and run a technology firm. But the last time around, I've been in for about 14 years.
Great.
And I started your service because I felt like I needed to, at this juncture in my career, I needed to find a better way to put butts in the seats in front of my desk, to tell you the truth, than what I have been using, which in the past was to be out cold calling and basically just knocking on doors. So I basically chose your service over others because it sounded like there was a process there that I hadn't heard about before. And I knew that CPAs and attorneys would be a good referral resource, but it has always been difficult in the past to get in front of those folks and share the value proposition that I have to offer.
Okay, great. So I want to ask you about your experience in the service, but I have to mention that I know you were pretty skeptical. I mean, you decided to join, and we went through an initiation and a welcome process and coaching, and I know you didn't have too much success in the past with CPAs and attorneys, and I also know you were skeptical. With that background, for everybody else listening, can you now tell us a little bit about your experience in the service, the quality of the meetings, any successes you've had, et cetera?
Oh, sure. And I guess to be absolutely factual, the bad experiences that I'd had in the past were not with CPAs and attorneys. It was with appointment setting services. And that was where I actually had a tremendous amount of skepticism right at first. But shortly after going on my first 2 or 3 meetings, I discovered that we actually did deliver on what they promised. Everything that has been promised has been delivered. I've got relationships now with about 20 or so CPAs and attorneys that I didn't have before. So.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that, and I also appreciate the clarity there as to why you were somewhat skeptical. So, great. Well, it sounds like, out of your first 24 to have 20 fruitful or viable referral relationship opportunities, that's a pretty good percentage. Can you tell me a little bit about any successes you've had with the referral relationships, any referrals, potential referrals on the hook, et cetera?
Sure. One in particular sticks out in my mind, but it was a really interesting case that I think is going to be an example for folks out there in my referral network. The long and the short of it was that I was able to resolve the issue for the client, get clear title to the property, allow his sale to go through, and establish relationships with 2 more attorneys, and add them to my network. And not only did I add them to my network, but they got to see me work and see the care that I take in helping my clients. So
right, great.
A lot of business coming from that.
That's fantastic. You don't have to be specific unless you want to, but care to share how much you've received so far or generated just from that one referral?
Sure. Well, immediately there was $55,000 came into an IRA, but there'll be another $200,000 or $300,000 coming in over the next month or two as the proceeds of the sale from the property come in, and I'll also get assets from.
That's great. Well, that's a fantastic share.
It is. And they're good folks, good clients, the kind of people I like to work with, and they needed somebody that would work for them and be an advocate. So I was that. It won me the business, and it won the respect of several other professionals in the community that I think will look to me to help solve hard problems down the road.
Yeah, that's great. And so I'm just curious because you said you have the good potential with almost a couple of dozen other referral partners, referral sources. Other referrals on the hook or pending or potential?
I had 2 other referrals that are on the hook.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think you're in your 4th month, and I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure. Actually, you've been in for 3.5 months, so it sounds like one has come in, a few $100,000, and you've got a couple others pending / on the hook after just 3.5 months. So you are absolutely on track, my friend.
Well, I feel like we are. This is it's an investment, but I think it's one that will pay off very well down the road. Yeah, I'm real happy with the service.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. And Mike, I just want to thank you again for taking the time to share your experience.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Lynn.